Hey guys, it's NYC here, and today we're going for another podcast, and I'm here with my friend Ian, and Ian here is a Packers fan, so we're gonna talk to him about stuff relating to that. My first question here is, so you guys are in the NFC North, and the Lions just traded their quarterback for Jared Goff and two future first rounders and a third round this year. Do you think Jared Goff is going to make the Lions any better?
I don't think so. Jared Goff stinks.
um,
Um,
all
I'm
right.
not. I don't think it affects the Packers at all. I'm glad Matthew Stafford's gone though because he's a free man.
uh, yeah. Um, do you think that who do you think won the trade?
Definitely the Rams.
Okay. Now on my podcast yesterday, I said I thought the Lions won the trade, and I say that because they got a mediocre quarterback plus a ton of draft picks, and that's just my opinion. We can all have our own opinions. Uh, so my next question here is, how did you feel about the Packers drafting a quarterback in the first round?
I actually liked the decision because it was the same thing when Aaron Rodgers was drafted. Brett Favre was still a starting quarterback and he was going to be in the Hall of Fame. So Aaron Rodgers was able to learn behind Brett Favre, and I'm hoping Jordan Love will be able to do the same behind Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. And come 4 years or 3 years now into the future, do you think they're gonna let Aaron Rodgers walk, or do you think they're gonna let Jordan Love walk?
I don't really know. I feel like Aaron's at the age where you can't really predict how he's going to do in the future. He had a MVP season this year, and I am hoping he could keep it up. And maybe eventually we'll have Jordan Love in, but hopefully it's not for a good few years.
All right. Do you think there's a possibility that Aaron Rodgers gets traded before his contract comes up?
Yeah, I think there is a possibility, but I don't think it'll happen because he's still a really really good quarterback, and I think the Packers want to keep him until he is all worn out.
Okay, so there is a rumor going around that Aaron Rodgers wants to get revenge on the Packers for drafting a quarterback. And by revenge, I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of come 3 more years, say the Packers don't resign him, he goes to a division rival like Favre did. Uh, and at the moment, the only division rival that really needs a quarterback would be the Bears. How do you feel about Aaron Rodgers possibly becoming a Bear in the 3 years?
That would be really weird, but if he does become a Bear, I'm just hoping he's no longer a good quarterback at the time.
That makes sense. Um, so, not really an NFC North question, but Philip Rivers retired, and he's near uh, the area, I guess. He was an Indianapolis Colt for a year. How do you feel about Indianapolis, or him going to Indianapolis and instead of just retiring with the Chargers?
I think it was a good idea because the Chargers were wasting his career. I don't think he had a few playoff appearances, I believe, but he never played in the Super Bowl and he never made it far to the playoffs. And I thought the Colts would have given him a better chance, but they didn't. So, but I
Yeah.
still thought it was a better idea going to the Colts.
Okay. I think he did go like 11-5 this year, which shows that he still has it. I mean, he played pretty darn well. Also, another
He's got to
question
go
here.
what? He's got to go take care of all of his like 25 kids.
Another question here. See, there is so many quarterbacks that need, or so many teams that need quarterbacks in these next few years. Like we're talking Bears, Jets, Jaguars, The Texans are gonna need a quarterback. San Francisco, the Patriots, they all are gonna need quarterbacks coming up here soon. Do you think that the drafts are going to have enough quarterbacks, or do you think people like uh, Taylor Henneke, who balled out in the playoff game against the Bucks, do you think some XFL quarterbacks might get a chance?
I think some XFL quarterbacks might get a chance, and also there will be a lot of quarterbacks in the draft. I think it'll be like a 50-50, a lot of free agent signings as well, and trades.
Mm-hmm. Because Taylor Henneke was a XFL quarterback and then came in a playoff game, Washington against the Bucks, and he kind of balled out. I think he could probably find a starter job somewhere. Heck, maybe even in Washington.
Yeah, I think he could get. I think I don't know how long is Alex Smith staying there for? Is this his last year of his contract?
I think it's coming up here, but Alex Smith is also getting up there in age.
Yeah,
Speaking of Alex Smith, who do you think wins Comeback Player of the Year? Do you think it's definitely Alex Smith or?
yeah, Alex Smith for sure. He had a really good year this year.
Yeah, he went 6-1 while starting, I want to say.
Yep, and he had what a really bad injury last year, missed almost all the games.
I think he did miss all of last year and part of the year before. He almost died because of his injury.
Oh, I did not know it was that bad.
Yeah. Uh, now, I you're a Packers fan here. I'm a Cowboys fan here, so we're gonna, we are kind of rivals, I guess. Like I know pretty much
In a way, yeah.
the Cowboys have lost a lot, and I know I sure don't like Packers fans or Packers in general. Um, so, how do you think the Cowboys are gonna do next year? Saying they re-sign Dak, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the only major name that they need to re-sign is Dak.
I think that they could be probably a division winner for the year because I don't really know any teams that could be good in your division next year except for the Cowboys. But I don't think they'll get the 1 or 2 seed, but I know they'll definitely be playing in the wild card round.
Yeah, assuming like they because with Dak, the Cowboys offense was number one in the league. 5 games in, Dak had over half of the average amount for a quarterback in passing yards. He was on track to break records. 40. He was putting up 40 points a game. The only problem was the defense lost us 5 of those 6 games by letting 40 plus points happen.
Dak was doing really good. As long as you guys fix your offensive line and your defense, I think you guys will be a really good team.
hmm So I'm pretty sure the Cowboys here also signed Andy Dalton to a 1 year deal. So I think that was his last year deal. What do you think happens to Andy Dalton after this season? Do you think he goes to a team that needs a quarterback? Do you think they re-sign him as a good backup? Or do you think he just retires?
I don't think he's at the age of retirement yet, so I'm gonna say he goes to a team that is desperately needing a quarterback.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. He still played pretty well this year. I think teams like the Bears, Jets, maybe even the 49ers could use a quarterback like him.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of quarterbacks that were signed to a 1 year deal, Cam Newton was signed to a 1 year deal to the Patriots. What do you think happens to him after this year?
I think so. I don't think he's gonna play after this year. I think the reason why they signed him to a 1 year deal is because I believe that they're planning on drafting a quarterback, having him sit behind Newton for a year. Newton leaves and the rookie gets to start. So
That would make
that's what I
sense.
believe.
Based on how Cam Newton played this year, I'm gonna say he is definitely not as good as his 2015 self. Super Bowl carrying. This year he played decent, but he didn't play insanely well, and I'm not sure if he really has a starting job many places. Like, as I said, maybe like Bears, Jets, 49ers is a possibility, but at this point he's getting old. He's like 32. I think he's going to be just like a sit behind or like passing around quarterback for the next few years until he retires.
So there's a lot of things saying that the Jets need to sign a quarterback or trade for a quarterback. Are they not going for Justin Fields, or are they looking for someone that Justin Fields can sit behind?
Um, a lot of what I've seen with mock drafts is they either take Justin Fields or kind of roll with Darnold, and I think Darnold came back in the last few games, and he didn't play horribly. And at the moment, I think Sam Darnold is probably going to be better than a rookie quarterback. He can still improve, if they want to like trade for a quarterback or sign a quarterback to a 1 year deal, heck, let's say Tom Brady doesn't re-sign with the Bucks in a few years, and Tom Brady goes to the Jets for a few years, and Sam Darnold sits behind him. I think Sam Darnold could easily still be a starting quarterback.
Yeah, but I would feel bad for Patriots fans if Tom Brady is like, all right, I'm going to the Jets and I'm going to win a Super Bowl with them now.
Yeah. Also, yesterday, uh, Tom Brady said that he plans on playing past 45. How do you feel about that?
Retire already. We're sick of you.
Yeah. He's
We don't like you.
he's won a lot of Super Bowls. I mean, heck, he's even in a Super Bowl this year. He could have a sixth ring, or wait, doesn't he already have six?
I think it'd be 7, right?
Yeah, he doesn't really need a seventh ring. I think he kind of needs to uh, let some other quarterbacks have a chance, but he's hasn't really declined in play too much. I mean, it took him a while to get used to this Bucks team, but he played pretty well after he did get used to it.
So, what was the Bucks record last year? Like 3-13?
Yeah, they did not do well at all.
How the hell does Brady take a 3-13 team 1 year and take them to the Super Bowl the next year?
Yeah. So last year, Jameis Winston was the quarterback, threw a lot of touchdowns, but also a lot of interceptions. The Bucks had a very good team last year, other than Jameis Winston. So they bring in a good quarterback. They bring in Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, two very good players, and they create a very good team with a very good quarterback, and it after they got used to it, it did them well.
Yeah, and they ended up beating Packers. It's
Yeah.
disappointing.
So that reminds me. Uh, the Madden covers of Madden 17, 18, 19, and 20 are all in the Super Bowl this year. That being Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, and Patrick Mahomes. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that. It never came to mind. I mean, I knew who were on the covers of those video games, but I didn't come to mind that they were all 4 in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. Oh, also, oh, wow, I had another question, but I kind of forgot. Well, we'll go with this question. Who do you think wins the Super Bowl this year?
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah, I go with the Chiefs easily. Chiefs were a super team last year, kind of wrecked in the Super Bowl. They were off to a slow start, which they have been a good amount, but come in playing in the second quarter and make huge comebacks. Like they go from losing by 10 to winning by 20 to 30 points. And the
Yeah,
Chiefs didn't really lose anyone over the offseason. I think it's going to be the Chiefs easily.
I think it's gonna be a good game, very offensive game. I see the Chiefs defense having a hard time with the Bucks offense, and the Bucks defense having a hard time with the Chiefs offense.
Yeah, they both can move the
So
ball really well. Also, Kansas City. So Kansas City lost pretty much no one in the offseason. And they also got two running backs to make it even better. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire and they have Le'Veon Bell. So they have two good running backs that they didn't have last year.
yep, they're only getting better. It's crazy.
Yeah. Um,
They're gonna be a dynasty for sure.
yeah. How do you feel like where do you think Deshaun Watson's gonna go?
Honestly, I no, I'm kind of leaning towards Chicago, but I think it's just because I'm an NFC North fan, a fan of a team that's in the NFC North. But I feel like he's gonna end up in Chicago, and if he does, we could stop saying that. Well, we could still say that Ryan Pace messed up in the draft, but like Maul makes up for it at the end because he ended up getting Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Um, so you see all these quarterback situations, a lot of them getting traded and stuff. I kind of feel like Deshaun Watson's probably either going to go to the Patriots or the 49ers. And if he doesn't, I don't really know where else he would go. The 49ers probably makes the most sense because I kind of see someone like say Dak Prescott doesn't get re-signed. I kind of see Dak Prescott going to New England, uh, being a Cowboys fan because it's kind of just what New England does. Dak Prescott is an amazing quarterback, and he would turn the Patriots to a decent team. The Patriots need a wide receiver or two, and then they have a decent team again. But I definitely think the Cowboys should re-sign Dak, so I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Say that Deshaun Watson does get traded to the Bears. Who do you think will be going to Houston? Mitchell Trubisky or Nick Foles?
Um, I don't know if it'd be a QB for QB trade, but I think it'd definitely be Trubisky if there would be a QB in there. I'm thinking if if they go to Chicago, I'm thinking uh Allen Robinson's probably gonna want to stay now. He has a good quarterback. Allen Robinson's actually going into free agency this year, so this has to happen quicker, else Allen Robinson is gone. But I think the trade will look something like from the Bears, it'll be probably like Trubisky, this year's first rounder, probably two more first rounders, future first rounds. Uh, and I also think there's probably at least a third round, and there's probably a player in there, probably some kind of defense player or something like that. Maybe Robert Quinn or something like that. Roquan Smith. I don't think they get rid of Roquan Smith that easily, though. Robert Quinn is a possibility. I feel like he's pretty good, but I don't know. Houston is probably going to want a good player in return.
Yeah. So, like, the Bears already have a really good defense. If they get a good offense along with a really good defense, they could actually be competition against the Packers, and that would be pretty scary.
Yeah, when they first drafted Trubisky, Trubisky was balling out. He had a great year. Uh, he led him pretty far into the playoffs, I want to say, till Cody Parkey missed the kick against the Eagles, and then the Eagles went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I remember that. It was all Cody Parkey's fault.
Yeah, I do think the Bears are pretty much a quarterback and uh maybe if they don't actually no, I'm not gonna say if they don't get Allen Robinson back, they need a wide receiver. But I'm gonna say they don't really need another receiver. They have Anthony Miller. They have Darnell Mooney, which was a rookie this year. I think Darnell Mooney definitely has a lot of potential. I think Darnell Mooney could probably be a good receiver down the line. So I don't think they really need another wide receiver if Allen Robinson walks. I think the Bears are pretty much a quarterback from away from being a good team.
Yeah.
So now this is gonna be the last question because we're already on 20 minutes and I don't want this to be too long. So, how do you feel about the Bears taking Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes?
Stupid.
Yeah. Um, do you think the Bears should have drafted Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes?
Deshaun Watson, because Patrick Mahomes, who knows how he could have turned out. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has Andy Reid and a good offense all around him. And the Bears don't have a good coach. They have a solid offense around the quarterback. But I don't know how Mahomes could have been in Chicago.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Deshaun Watson's been really good with not a good coach. He had a 4,800 yard year this year without
Yeah.
his number one receiver. I think
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson could probably be good anywhere. Uh, Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, I don't know. Maybe you could slip a monster quarterback in that offense, and they'd be even better. They'd be going 16-0 all the time. Maybe I don't know. Uh,
Maybe.
but Patrick Mahomes is definitely a good fit there. And they paid him a lot of money for 10 years, so I think Mahomes is gonna be a an all-time Kansas City Chief.
Yeah. He's going to
Um,
retire Kansas City probably.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna let that one be the last question because we're already on 22 minutes. So, thanks for watching the podcast, guys. I'll see you guys later.